From the most expensive home in the NBA to controversies you've never even heard of, this is the deepest dive into the private life of CP3. Hit the intro.
More than that.
Oh, no, he didn't.
What a
No, he didn't.
oh!
CP3, stop it. Someone else got to take Chris Paul out the air right here. That ain't right.
But before the mansions and his personal life, we gotta start with where this story really begins. Chris Paul was born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina on May 6, 1985. He grew up in a tight, disciplined household where faith and education were non-negotiable. His father, Charles Paul, coached him from the time he could hold a basketball. His older brother, CJ, was his first real competition. But the place that shaped him most wasn't a gym. It was his grandfather's service station in nearby Louisville. That's where Chris spent hours after school sweeping floors, talking with customers, and watching how his grandfather carried himself. That presence stuck with him until one night when everything shifted. Chris was in high school when a phone call came that his family wasn't prepared for. His grandfather was shot and killed during a robbery at that same station. Just weeks later, Chris stepped onto the court for West Forsyth High School with something different driving him. He delivered the most emotional performance in high school basketball history. He scored exactly 61 points, intentionally missing the final free throw, honoring his grandfather one last time before walking off the floor. By the time he graduated, Chris Paul wasn't just the best player in his area. He was one of the most respected high school guards in the country. So let's briefly go over his early career. Chris Paul stayed home and committed to Wake Forest. As a freshman, he didn't sit and wait. He stepped into the starting lineup and immediately changed the ceiling of the program. Wake Forest made the NCAA tournament, pushing all the way to the Sweet 16, and Chris walked off the floor with ACC Rookie of the Year honors. The following season is when everything shifted. For 2 weeks, Wake Forest was ranked #1 in the nation for the first time in school history, and the reason was Chris. But in the final game of his sophomore season, something strange happened. Wake Forest faced NC State in a tense rivalry matchup. Midway through the battle, in a moment that would follow him for years, Chris Paul nut-punched Julius Hodge. For a player known for control, it was a jarring image. But the story of that night didn't just end there. With the clock winding down in a tie game, he did this.
The sprint for the finish by Paul. He does it! Puts one in the face of North Carolina State at the buzzer.
He would later be suspended for the ACC tournament, and he responded the only way he knew how. Back on the floor, he led Wake back into the NCAA tournament and finished the year as a first-team All-American. After 2 seasons, he hired an agent and declared for the NBA draft. Now for the clips that turned him into a viral sensation. Chris Paul entered the league at a strange time. The Hornets selected him 4th overall, but the franchise didn't even have a stable home. Hurricane Katrina had forced them to relocate to Oklahoma City. By the end of his rookie season, he had taken over the offense entirely and won Rookie of the Year. But the real shift came 3 seasons later. The Hornets won 56 games and drew the Mavericks in the first round of the playoffs.
Nowitzki. No. Chris Paul the rebound, and the Hornets take the series.
But then, something scary happened. In a game against the Cavs, Paul collided with Ramon Sessions. He suffered a concussion and was carried off the court on a stretcher. Later that year, he was traded to the Lakers. The deal was finalized, but then the NBA stepped in and did something they have never done before. They vetoed the trade. Players were furious.
Kobe, is this trade thing fair to people involved?
Unfortunately, it's just the nature of the beast.
Fans were stunned. Within days, he was sent to the Clippers instead. And that's when everything changed. The Clippers weren't a punchline anymore. Lob City was born.
Here comes Chris Paul. The lob. Let's go!
For the next few seasons, the Clippers became a national TV staple, built on alley-oops and Chris controlling every possession. By 2015, the questions were getting louder. Chris Paul was brilliant, but he failed to reach the finals. In the first round of the playoffs, the Clippers faced the defending champion Spurs, and it went to Game 7. He was playing through a strained hamstring, clearly limited. Yet with the game tied in the final seconds, the ball found him.
Clippers by 2!
For a moment, it felt like the breakthrough. Then came a second-round matchup against Houston. The Clippers got out to a 3-1 series lead. In Game 5, they led by 19 at home. But then, everything fell apart.
Houston for the lead. It is Brewer for 3. And he hit it! And that will do it. One of the most stunning comebacks in the history of the NBA.
The Rockets took the series and advanced. And the following postseason didn't offer any relief. During the first round against Portland, Paul broke his hand midway through the series. Years later in Houston, the same pattern surfaced on an even bigger stage. 2018 Western Conference Finals. The Rockets were up 3-2 on Golden State, just one win away from the NBA Finals. Late in Game 5, Chris rose for a routine pull-up jumper. As he landed, he grabbed his hamstring. With Paul out, the Warriors won the series in 7 games. After a brief stop in Oklahoma City, he landed in Phoenix. In the Western Conference Finals against the Clippers, the series returned to LA for Game 6. With a chance to close it out, Chris delivered one of the defining performances of his career. He scored 41 points, and for the first time in his career, he was headed to the NBA Finals. The Suns jumped to a 2-0 lead in the finals before losing in 6 games. Phoenix eventually decided to move on, trading Chris Paul to Washington. He lasted just 12 days with the Wizards before being moved again, this time to Golden State.
He's got it now. He'll launch a 3. Good!
After fracturing his hand, he was waived and became a free agent. Rather than chasing a title from the bench, he chose San Antonio for one reason: to stay on the floor. Following the season, Paul signed a 1-year deal to return to the Clippers for his 21st season. Midway through the season, the Clippers announced that they planned to part ways with Paul and sent him home. He subsequently announced his retirement from the NBA. But what we really want to know is how the dude spends his cash. And trust me when I say, this dude is the real estate king. When Chris Paul arrived in LA, he bought into Bel Air. The Mediterranean estate set him back $8.5 million, spans over 12,000 square feet, and sits behind layered security in one of the most private zip codes in America. Inside, the entry opens to a dramatic double staircase under vaulted ceilings. There's also a 12-seat home theater with custom tiered seating, a billiards room, a library, a gym with a sauna, and a basement wine cellar with room for 500 bottles. An elevator leads to the primary suite, which takes over its own wing, complete with fireplace, private balcony, and spa-style bathroom. But his favorite part of the house was his custom-designed mini half-court. Outside, the backyard feels like a private resort. Infinity Edge pool, waterfall spa, covered lounge areas, and an outdoor kitchen. With a heated subterranean 10-car garage, this was not a starter home. This was a rival. And real quick, we're officially evolving from NFL lifestyle to athlete lifestyle, which means we're covering every major athlete across every sport. Here's the difference. We're real sports fans. We fact-check contracts. We dig into real stories. No generic AI clickbait. So if you want real athlete breakdowns and not that copy-paste stuff, subscribe now. Now let's check in on his second LA property he scooped up while in the middle of the Lob City era. This Mediterranean-style estate was built for entertaining. It featured a fully equipped chef's kitchen designed for private dinners. Outside, the property includes a custom pool and spa, barbecue station, and a full-size tennis court. Then came Calabasas and his most expensive purchase yet. Paul purchased a $9 million estate featuring over 11,000 square feet of living space. The property featured a full-size private tennis court, detached guest house, and a resort-style pool wrapped in fountains and waterfalls. Covered patios open to rose gardens and fruit trees, all sealed behind gates for complete privacy. Inside, the chef's kitchen included a built-in pizza oven and opened directly into the main living space. The home also featured a private theater, mirrored gym, wine closet with refrigerated storage, and a downstairs primary suite with direct access to the grounds. And then he landed in Houston, and the scale exploded. An 18,000 square foot mansion in the Woodlands sitting on Jack Nicklaus Golf Course. 9 bedrooms, 14 bathrooms. But the crown jewel was a private indoor basketball court. There was also a 2-story wood-paneled library, wine tasting room, home theater, golf simulator, and multiple entertainment lounges. Outside, the backyard resembled a private resort compound. A resort-style pool and spa with an outdoor kitchen and fire pit lounges. But one Texas estate just wasn't enough. In the same year, Paul also purchased a second Houston mansion in the ultra-exclusive Bayou Woods neighborhood. You ascend a set of stone steps flanked by a tranquil koi pond, setting the tone before you even reach the front door. The open floor plan moves effortlessly through soaring living spaces framed by floor-to-ceiling windows. The kitchen is built at scale, oversized stone islands and chef-grade appliances. Inside, a private movie theater delivers a true cinematic experience. And for modern convenience, a climate-controlled wine display is integrated directly into the architecture. The backyard transforms into a luxury outdoor entertainment pavilion, complete with a built-in kitchen, bar seating, and mounted televisions for hosting at scale. But if there's one property that feels like a crown jewel, it's his most recent purchase in Encino. The 13,000 square foot modern farmhouse sits on over an acre of gated privacy in one of LA's most elite pockets. The arrival alone just feels intentional, as it should, since it set him back $15,150,000. A long driveway leads to soaring ceilings inside a dramatic foyer that opens into expansive living spaces framed by disappearing walls of glass. The gourmet kitchen is built at scale. Dual waterfall islands, breakfast nook, and a full butler's pantry designed for seamless entertaining. There are 8 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, and 2 dedicated offices. A 2-story guest house sits separate from the main residence, alongside a covered cabana with its own bath. Downstairs, a temperature-controlled wine cellar anchors the entertainment wing next to a state-of-the-art theater. Directly across sits a private gym with a sauna and ice bath. Outback features include a basketball court and a saltwater pool stretching across the whole backyard. But in 2021, everything changed. Chris Paul was traded to the Suns. And instead of buying, he stayed in what might be the ultimate basketball player's dream house. Tucked inside an exclusive enclave sits a 21,000 square foot modern mega mansion. 7 bedrooms, 17 bathrooms, nearly 5 acres of privacy. But that's not what makes this place insane. Because underneath the mansion, there's a hidden underground regulation-sized basketball court. Not a half court. A full professional-grade gym built below the home, complete with scoreboard lighting, pro flooring, and enough space to host private NBA runs. It comes with a complete viewing area with a built-in kitchen. There's even a museum-style sneaker room built to display $400,000 worth of Jordans. The rest of the property feels like a private resort. 2 resort-style pools, fire and water features lining the backyard, putting greens and chipping centers, and a detached guest house for family and teammates. But what's a bunch of homes without any cars? After signing with the Clippers, he rewarded himself with a Rolls-Royce Ghost, a $300,000 luxury sedan that matched his new chapter in LA. In an interview, he let us know which other cars he owns.
My wife has a Porsche. She has a Range Rover. I have a 77 Monte Carlo. We have an Escalade. I got a Maybach. Let me stop.
And his car collection has a total value of over $3 million. Now we gotta take a peek in this guy's closet, because he knows how to spend. He's been seen wearing a Vacheron Constantin Historiques 222. The $77,000 piece is crafted in 18-karat gold and topped with sapphire crystal. He also owns the highly coveted Rolex Cosmograph Daytona John Mayer. And when he showed up to Paris Fashion Week, he didn't hold back either. He rocked a $155,000 Patek Philippe annual calendar chronograph. Also in his watch collection is an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak, a Rolex Submariner Hulk, and his favorite watch, a Patek Philippe World Time in 18-karat rose gold. But after he retired, he one-upped himself. In 2026, he picked up this insane AP Royal Oak offshore chronograph, the most expensive piece in his closet. Also in his closet, you'll find a pair of Jordan 11 Retro Premiums. And now for a peek into his personal life. And trust me, it's way crazier than you think. Chris Paul has been with Jada Paul since high school, after the two were introduced by a mutual friend in 2003. They attended rival schools in North Carolina, with Jada 1 year ahead of him. The couple married in September 2011 in Charlotte. Their son, Chris Jr., was 2 years old at the time and played a part in the ceremony. They later welcomed their daughter, Cameron, in 2012. Throughout Paul's 21-year NBA career, she remained a constant presence through team changes, relocations, and playoff runs. And now for his close celebrity circle. With LeBron James, it's deeper than competition. They were both part of the now iconic banana boat vacation photo, a private Caribbean trip with Wade that accidentally became one of the most famous off-court NBA images ever. And when they're not on vacation, they kick it at LeBron's mansion in LA. But Carmelo Anthony goes back even further. Paul and Melo were teammates on Team USA's 2008 Olympic gold medal squad, one of the most dominant basketball teams ever assembled. And when the Clippers dropped Paul, Carmelo had his back.
The CP situation, it's a up situation. Imagine CP right now. He's embarrassed that my own organization that I brought back to relevance is shitting on me.
That Olympic run cemented their friendship, turning teammates into lifelong brothers. Then there's Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan, the core of Lob City. Together, they transformed the Clippers into a highlight machine, with Paul orchestrating alley-oops that defined an era. In 2025, Paul posted a FaceTime screenshot laughing with Griffin and Jordan, proof that the bond survived the business of basketball. But his closest bond is with SGA. Shai and his wife invited CP3 over for dinner, and the centerpiece, his MVP trophy. But his most surprising friend is NFL star Reggie Bush. Back when they were both in New Orleans, they lived in the same complex, and off the field, they were constantly together, golfing during the day and bowling at night. Speaking of golfing and bowling, those are actually two of his favorite hobbies. During the off-season, you'll usually catch him on the golf course. Paul's played in multiple celebrity pro-ams, including the American Century Championship in Lake Tahoe. He even teamed up with the GOAT, Tiger Woods. The following year, he teamed up with President Barack Obama while on vacation at Martha's Vineyard. As for bowling, that's been his thing since he was a kid in North Carolina. He's hosted CP3 PBA Celebrity Invitationals, competed alongside pro bowlers, and once rolled a 226 during a televised event. Also, in his free time, he'll take in a baseball game, usually posted up at Dodger Stadium, repping the Dodgers and showing love to LA off the hardwood.
Nice hat!
Go Dodgers.
Now for some moments that caused some waves in his career. First, we gotta talk about the dirty player reputation. He's been accused of low blows, jersey tugs, and subtle shots that don't always get caught live. From the infamous groin contact in college to playoff moments involving Kevin Durant and others, critics have labeled him dirty. Supporters call it veteran savvy. Opponents call it calculated. Either way, the reputation followed him. Then there's the flopping allegations. He's known for selling contact, snapping his head back, stopping short on defenders, drawing fouls in tight spaces.
Flop by Paul with a no call right in front of the official.
Then came the fight. During a heated game between Houston and the Lakers, a scuffle broke out involving Chris Paul, Rajon Rondo, and Brandon Ingram.
Oh, Paul and Rondo throwing punches. Ingram comes in, he's throwing punches.
Video showed Paul and Rondo exchanging punches.
James and Paul, such close friends, James able to calm him down momentarily.
The NBA suspended Paul 2 games and fined him $491,782 in lost salary. He's also accumulated 79 technical fouls in his career, bringing his total fine amount to $860,782. Then came the betrayal, and this one hurt the most. In December 2025, while the Clippers were on the road in Atlanta, Chris Paul found out at 3 a.m. that he was released. Not through a ceremony, not through a farewell, through an overnight decision. This was the player who built Lob City, who changed the culture of a franchise that used to be a joke. And the city that once chanted his name sent him home in the middle of the night. Now, at this point, you gotta be getting excited about his career earnings. The point guard's career wasn't just legendary, it was profitable. Over 21 seasons, he signed major contracts, including a $120 million deal with the Suns and a $160 million deal with the Rockets. His NBA salary alone has brought in $405 million. And that's only part of the story. Off the court, he's one of the faces of Jordan Brand and has long-running deals with companies like State Farm, Panini, and Fanatics, which bring in an additional $8 million annually. Combine all of that, and his career earnings sit at $535 million, and his net worth is $180 million. If you made it this far, you're a real one. Subscribe, and welcome to Athlete Lifestyle.